So this is Shannon. She's been working with me for quite a while now. Shannon, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us where we were, or where you were before we started working together.
Yeah, sure. So Shannon, I'm here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I am an executive for a technology professional services firm. And so I live the work from home life, which is great. It gives me a lot of flexibility, and a good work-life balance. So before Lucas and I started working together, I was in another really high demand job. And I had been kind of just curating my own workouts through various means, such as Instagram and my equally as amateur gym partner. And I just really wasn't making a whole lot of progress, not with the level of commitment that I felt that I had to fitness. So despite me feeling like I was really putting in the time at the gym, I was not seeing the growth in strength. I was not seeing my body change in any significant way. And I was really starting to hit a wall where I was no longer enjoying my experience in fitness.
All right. So what did you mention? What were some of the goals that you had kind of like coming in?
Coming in, I really just wanted to, my biggest thing is understanding the why behind different fitness regimens. So I don't want to just crank out a workout and not understand what impact it is supposed to have physiologically, kind of how it fits into the larger picture. So I really wanted to just understand more about fitness in general, and then learn practices that I really understood what the impact of them were supposed to be, so that I could implement them in my own way, but also under the guidance of somebody who is an expert in the area.
Okay. So what were some of those things that we implemented in your routine and regimen, like physically, mentally?
Yeah. So one of the things that we've implemented that I found to be extremely impactful is I really didn't understand the mechanisms in which an individual grows strength. So implementing consistent weight increases and kind of understanding at what times you should do those things, mixing in strength training with, hypertrophy training, and understanding the difference of those two things. Most recently, we've implemented time under tension training, which also has a different impact on your strength building journey. So what I've really been able to do is not only one, understand the why behind our exercises versus just kind of going into the gym, pulling up some influencers, exercise routine, and just kind of following the steps with what I felt comfortable with.
Booty
We
blast
were
12,000.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm no longer doing just like 5 rounds of glute kickbacks in various different ways. So actually being able to have a program that allows me to see progress, to build strength, to see changes in my body, because it is very intentional. And it's backed by science. And then I also have somebody there holding me accountable whenever I don't feel like I want to grab that larger weight because it's intimidating to me. I have somebody there who, gives me a little bit of a hard time and says, you can do that. You're going to be fine. And no matter how much I complain, he encourages me, you encourage me to move up to the next level. And another thing, I have a big mental block, or I did have a big mental block as it relates to kind of your basic compound exercises.
Mhm.
I've always been really scared of hurting myself. And so having somebody who is certain that, and they're being intentional in the amount of weight that we're doing, so that I feel confident that I'm not going to hurt myself whenever I'm doing a squat, or I had never done a bench press prior to working with you. Just some of those really basic exercises that have such an impact. I now feel confident in being able to do those and do them correctly so that I don't face an injury.
Right. Right. And that's so important. So now, it allows you when you're on your own in the gym to be able to go and have an effective workout in that sort of way. So that's really cool. What have been some of the results that you've seen in your body and in your strength and in your mind as well?
Yeah, I've definitely been able to hit specifically weight milestones that I never expected that I would be able to hit. So it's really exciting whenever, you're doing a squat or a deadlift or something and you're able to add like an extra plate to that and hit new PRs. That's something that I never really expected that I would be able to do. Just because I was so intimidated by using higher weights. So that's one of the really impactful results that I've seen. And of course, with that, there comes a change in body composition. So, for example, we were moving furniture around the other day, my partner and I, and we've unfortunately for him, we've had to move together a couple of times. And even just having functional strength to where he didn't have to call one of his friends because I'm
Right.
absolutely useless in the process. That's a really positive change. So just being able to, in everyday life, be more self-reliant and effective whenever it comes to needing to be strong in various situations.
Right. Right. And I would imagine that kind of translates to like mental strength as well. Have you seen any changes there and like just your outlook on yourself? Like you said, you had increased confidence now in going to the gym and looking at those heavy weights. Do you think that's
Yeah, absolutely. Like this is the first year in summertime that I felt really comfortable like wearing shorts out in public. So, feeling self-conscious, obviously, especially with women and beauty standards and things like that. It's always been something that I've been really self-conscious of. And now, I wear shorts out in public. I wear shorts to the gym. And a lot of times too, especially as a female, whenever you're in the gym and especially in the weight section of a gym, it can be extremely intimidating because you're surrounded by mostly men who obviously know what they're doing. A lot of them at times really need to give some unsolicited advice,
right?
which is not super helpful most of the time. So boys, don't do that. But I now feel confident just walking into a weight section, knowing exactly what equipment I need to use, knowing how to use that equipment, and just not worrying about other people looking at me or judging me in any way. So it's definitely built a resilience there as well.
That's awesome because that's priceless. That's being able to go and do what you want to with confidence. So that's really awesome. You've made a lot of progress through your journey, especially in your strength. Still got to work a little bit more on that deadlift, but we're getting there.
Yeah, we still got a little bit of a mental barrier with that deadlift, but I went from barely putting on like those big 10-pound plates and being scared of that to now doing, significantly more weight. So
Mhm.
even though they still make me nervous and I still get mad every time you make me do them, I am happy that I've even made progress in the thing that I've dreaded the most in fitness.
That's awesome, Shannon. So, last thing wrapping up here, now that you've gone through it all, you've seen what it's like on the other side. What would you say to somebody who doesn't have that confidence? They don't have that strength yet, but they're thinking about getting involved with something, whether it's my program or something else. What would you say to somebody sitting on the fence?
Um, so I sat on the fence for this with a long time, and my biggest learning experience here is that I wish I would have done something like this sooner, especially if you are facing a little bit of insecurity, gym insecurity. I have a very kind of I'll figure it out myself kind of attitude. It serves me in a lot of areas of my life, but it really was not serving me as it relates to fitness. The fitness world is extremely large, it's extremely complex, and it's really hard to kind of filter through what is true and what is just kind of a narrative that somebody created to serve themselves. And so having somebody who actually is an expert in this area and is able to kind of filter through all of that for you, because they understand what your specific goals are versus kind of what the girl on Instagram, what her specific goals are. Sorry, my dog's leaving this conversation. I would say that there's a lot of misinformation out there, and this is an area where you want to have somebody to help guide you through to the correct information that is right for you, because it's different for everybody. And then also just kind of that, like I mentioned before, that push and that accountability. Whenever you're doing it on your own, increasing that weight, or maybe trying a new exercise for the first time, that can be extremely daunting. And so it is comforting whenever you have somebody who is there to make sure that you are doing things right, you're not going to get injured, and they know that you have the physical capacity and the mental capacity to actually complete these things that they're programming for you. So I would say that, even for people who are self-starters, they can figure it all out themselves. There are some areas like fitness where having a guide and a coach really speeds up your progress and keeps you engaged in a way that you're not going to be able to do just by yourself.
Awesome. That's awesome, Shannon. Well, thank you for taking the time to do this today. Is there anything else you want to say to anybody out there, or is that pretty much wrapped it up for you?
That pretty much wraps it up. I hope that this was somewhat helpful to anybody out there who is just kind of considering making this investment in themselves. I think Lucas in particular has been really positive. He puts up with all the abuse that I put him through on a daily basis. So
It's a lot.
Not always the nicest person in the gym, and especially during Nordic hamstring curls. So no, on that note, I think I'm done. I'm actually about to hit the gym myself and do one of our workouts. So
awesome. Great, Shannon. Couldn't think of a better way to wrap it up.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Lucas. I'll talk to you later.
See ya.